Hey everyone, it's Desiree, and we are now going to go through the projects on the Stampin' Up! Paper Pumpkin October 2017 card kit. So we're going to start with following the directions. You can make 10 cards from this kit, 4 different designs. So the first thing that they say to do in step 1 is to stamp your sentiments. So I grabbed 2 of the die cuts with the snowflakes. And then I also have the banners below. Now, of course, we always have to have a huge, glorious process. Excuse me. And of course, that didn't stamp. We decided to make it worse, to try to stamp over it. And yeah, that just made it even better. So paper has 2 sides. That is the beauty of paper. So we are just flipping this over. The snowflakes are very faint, and they'll be covered up with all the sequins. So the first sentiment is have a joyful Christmas and New Year. The second sentiment is happiest of holidays to you. And now we're going to stamp the 2 banners. So the first one is glad tidings of joy. And the second banner will say season's greetings. And that's pretty much the first step. The next step is to create the shaker. So I'm grabbing 2 of the card bases with the fern to make it look like an ornament. And then I'm grabbing 2 of the plain ones. And the plain ones actually have a stitch through it. I did do an unboxing of this, so I will link that down below so that you can see the full items that are in this kit. And we're just going to put these together just as we do any other shaker. We're going to put glue around the opening, set down our acetate. What's really nice is we do not have to worry about cutting the acetate, die cutting the circle. It's all done for you. And here are these awesome circle foam thingies. I don't know what they're called, but they are really great. It came with 5. Each one has 3 rings, and then it has 4 strips in it. If you're really good, you can actually put these rings straight down. But again, there's a hole in the center, so it's going to get all cattywampus. So I took off all of the backing from the adhesive, and I just slid it. I slid it in place so that I could form this around the opening. Now, the largest circle, when it came to this foam adhesives, is set for these 2 large circles at the bottom, and they will fit perfectly. I just really snugged it up against the edge. The smaller of the 3 circles is for the 2 at the top, and they fit perfectly. And you'll actually watch me do that. I'm able to take one of these circles and just literally place it right down. Not a problem. And you can see, boom. I think that's the first time something's gone that easy for me. But these are, I really hope they sell these. They are really, really nice. Again, you can slit them, you can do whatever. And then it's in its entire disc. So you can cut that up, and you're going to see me doing that. Nothing goes to waste when it comes to their products. I'm using the sequins. They came with sea foam and a pearl iridescent and gold stars, so I'm putting them in the centers. Now I'm grabbing the 2 die cuts with the trees in the background. They are for the larger circles up at the top. And you can see I'm kind of doing this in an assembly line. Removing the adhesive off the 2 on the bottom. Now what's nice is I put my finger at the ends of where the large part of the sentiment was so that I knew that it was going straight. But it really wouldn't matter if you stamp straight, if you're that good, because obviously I'm not. It actually is the same exact size of your acetate. So you can use that as a guide. So these are what the shakers look like so far. I think they're really, really cute. And in no time. These are the card bases. So that's why for October it was called Pining for Christmas, I believe. So you can see this disc, and here is where I'm just slicing into it, because you have 5 of them, and again, you're making 10 cards. So basically 1 for 2 cards. So whatever's left, you can just slice it up. Now, I should have sliced that just a little bit better. I could have sliced it down into some pieces, but you can see I'm actually going to use this entire disc and have many left over. That's the beauty when it comes to their foam adhesives. Their dimensionals are like that as well. They come in large and small, and even the edging, you can cut into it and use that to prop something up as well. Remember, we don't see underneath. So I'm going to tear off all of the adhesive backing, and I put glue down where the shaker part is, and I'm going to apply this down onto my side folding 4 1/4, 5 1/2 standard card base. And I think it's really cute. It's a really pretty card. For the other two, with the larger circle and the trees, we have to now apply our sentiment. So I'm pulling the ones that I stamped along with 2 gold banners as well. And those gold banners are just a little bit bigger than the white ones. So you're going to have a nice border around your sentiment of gold. I'm just going to prop them up on there. And then I will adhere it down onto the front of the card. And that is the last step for the kits, for the cards from the kit. I can really say that these would take you 30 minutes to make all 10 cards. That's how easy they make it. And I think they are absolutely great. I think they're beautiful. So it'll be interesting when the next kit comes in. So here's another project that I did using the same materials, only pulling in minimal supplies. I'm using the 2 small dies. I'm going to use one of the gold banners. I'm using one of the large card bases with the circle. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to place that on top of the card base because I want to cut the same hole through it. I have nesting circle dies. I believe they're from Sizzix, where I got mine. And I'm going to cut that circle out. Now, if you all saw my last video that was just posted, my Hero Arts, you know I greatly failed in a spinner. We're going to try it again. So I took one of the gold banners, I folded it in half, I cut it. I'm going to fold it in half again, and I'm going to cut the other side of the fishtail, and I'm going to use that as an ornament topper. Those 2 discs are going to form my ornament. Now I flipped them, so you can see the gold that's on top of it, that's going to be to the inside. You're not going to see that. Because again, that was stamped on the card base of the original card. I have this gold thread from DMC, and I'm going to string it through the hole on the top, and I'm just going to set that down. And I'm actually going to adhere it to my craft mat because I don't want that to move. It's kind of giving me a center point. So I also took one of those discs and also taped it down onto my mat as well. Again, looking for that center. I have 1/8 of an inch score tape, which is really recommended for something like this. This thread is so fine. I probably should have used something just a little bit thicker, but I did just want to stick with the gold. So I've set some strips down there, and I'm going to double this end as well. I don't have it going all the way through, so I have it looped through the hole at the top, and then I'm going to have it coming out of the bottom, and I'm going to use a lot of glue in here to make sure that that thread gets trapped within this center. I've set the other one on top of that, and now I'm going to glue it inside the ornament topper. Yeah, I still have not cut the top of this glue applicator, but these applicators are awesome. So I put a little bit of glue up in there, And now I'm going to set that down on my grid mat again so that I can get this centered. Again, knowing where the string's coming out at the bottom as well. I'm using one of my liquid gold pens that I get from Michael's or your local art store. These are awesome gold metallic pens. And I'm just going to go around the edge. I could have embossed. I just didn't want to. I really like this look. So I went with it. Yes, you're all thinking it. I was lazy to pull everything out. So I went around both sides. So it's just a little bit of a gold edge. So now I'm going to grab that card base again. And I'm going to set that in there. Probably should have done it first to make sure that it fit. But you can see it does. And I'm going to tape the card base down as well. You guys know, you watch me. I have a habit of knocking things and doing all kinds of fun, but I just need to make sure that I keep the center of this card. So I'm going to put some score tape down so that when I set this in place, I have a place to secure the threads on the top and the bottom. There are times where we wish we had a third hand. It would be awesome if we could do that. And no, I would never let my husband in my room. So once I have the score tape in place, I'm going to set that down and just make sure that is secured in there. And again, I can't recommend score tape enough. It's got an excellent bond immediately, even with this very fine thread. That thread really was not going to go anywhere. And to make sure, I put another layer of score tape on top of those threads, just offset from where it was originally. So now I'm just applying my Tombow tape runner. These are really good tape runners. They replaced the other ones that I had since they were discontinued. They are really nice. I'll make sure I'll link those down below as well. And you can see I did not forget. We have an awesome opening going on there. Again, for those of you that saw the last video, you're probably giggling. And we now have a little tiny spinner. And I'm having way too much fun with this. Just saying, woohoo, I made that. So I'm going to grab the sequins that came in the kit. And I'm just going to have fun with my glue applicator on this one side of the ornament. So you can see I'm just going to town with the glue dots. And I'm heavier down in the bottom right-hand corner, and I thinned out as I'm going to the top. So I actually start with the pearl, the mother of pearl type iridescent sequins, and then I move to the seafoam, and then I go into the gold stars. And the gold stars are kind of also intertwined throughout. So that's the front. What I also did from the card base, the smaller circle one, I cut out one of the ferns that came down, and I adhered that to the top of the card. So I'm grabbing my Favorite Things Joy die, and I'm going to die cut that out of gold metallic cardstock from my stash. This is the Tim Holtz from his card pack. And I'm going to pull that out. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to adhere it onto the other side. So you can either have the joy sitting on the front, have the sequins to the center, or you can have the sequins, of course, to the outside and have joy to the inside. But at least you do have a sentiment that sits on the card. So you can, watch it as it spins and does all of that and so forth. So that's the extra card that I made just using very limited supplies from my stash. I think it's really different. I think it's really cute. I remembered to do what I needed to do. I hope everyone enjoyed this. Remember, this kit for October is linked somehow, I don't know how they're doing this, to the kit in November. If you are interested in subscribing to the paper pumpkin, I will put the link below. Just remember, to receive the kit for November, you have to place the order by November 10th. But remember, even though they're linking the kits, they can be separate. it's just curious to know how they're going to do this. If you haven't already hit the subscribe button, I really encourage you to do that just to stay up to date with all the videos that I'm coming out with. Hit the like button to let me know that you do like these types of videos. And remember, everyone, be creative.